All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'll wait for more people to come in before I actually start. Today we're going to be talking about the news with Bob Iger last night, with it being known official that he's going to be CEO for 2 more years than expected, and also how, according to CNN, which was reported 1 hour ago, that he's looking into selling the ABC and different networks itself for ESPN. All right. So stating that he is actually open to that. And then I'm also going to share with you all the latest rumors and scoops that's been let out of Lucasfilm. Okay. With, with issues with now this time, as y'all can see in the thumbnail that I made and created and uploaded here, that Kathleen Kennedy may be powerless. Okay, that the 4 horsemen, or the Nazgul as I call them, from Disney have actually started taking over, the duties from there on out, and want people to answer to them. Okay, so I'll go ahead and step aside for a moment, and we'll begin. All right. So before I start talking about Bob Iger, sorry about that. I actually have my phone still open. Now, before I start talking about Bob Iger and everything, I want to talk about what's actually happening behind the scenes with Lucasfilm. Okay, what's actually going on there. Okay, because now we see some new updates and rumors that are definitely interesting. All right. So according to Karen Pashaw's personal scooper, the person who's actually leaking it out there, I'm not even going to say their code name because of the fact that I really don't want their identity to be made known, even though their code name is not their actual identity. But more or less, still, I don't want to get no further into trouble as it is. So states here that this leaker confirmed to Karen Pashaw that the emergency meeting at Lucasfilm already took place. Now, it seems that there might have been 2 meetings planned, and this might have been the first one, but only like 60% of Lucasfilm staff members could attend the next one. All right. And remember, this is Views with Hughes with Jennifer News. I'm Jerome Hughes. Be sure to go ahead and share this video far and wide across social media to get more people to listen in. Like I was saying, it appears that there's been 2 meetings planned, but only 60% of the Lucasfilm staff members could attend the first one. And then there's going to be a follow-up meeting to be held for those who weren't able to attend the first one. All right. Now, in the outcome of that meeting, it says here that the 5 horsemen officially assumed control of Lucasfilm, and the employees will now report to them until further notice. Now, remember, this is a rumor so far. Okay, this is a rumor. Be sure to take it with a whole case of salt. All right. Now, each of the horsemen have been assigned specific responsibilities, and the legal department will oversee business affairs. The accountants will be managed by famine and so on. Now, the Nazgul will be led by a person referred to as War, who the leaker identified as the Witch King of Burbank. All right. So this individual is one who's serving Bob Iger's representative within Lucasfilm. Now, this can be compared to the situation where King Herod Oculus had directly governed Judea through Pontius Pilate. All right, where he was removed and was placed with Pontius Pilate. And that's for those of you who are, biblical scholars and everything, or Christians. All right, now. They also the meeting also this leak also shared that the fate of Kathleen Kennedy, who's the current president of Lucasfilm, is still uncertain. Okay, we're not sure if she's fired. Some people actually said that their leakers said that she's already been gone and she's terminated and everything, but the word has not gotten out there yet. as far as I'm concerned. But however, the horseman have assured employees that she would not pose a problem. I wonder what they meant by that. How she won't pose a problem. Like what exactly do they mean? The fact that she won't pose a problem. Okay, that's pretty curious to me. So it goes on to talk about how she would no longer pose a problem, but like I said, it's unclear that she's still president of Lucasfilm, or she might have been terminated already. But it seems that she's not going to be in charge of Lucasfilm until a new president is authorized. Now, there may be some ongoing legal negotiations between Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's attorneys to finalize the terms of her departure. And then there's also no announcement that will be made until any contracts have been signed. So we also learned that the Horseman's objective is to basically bring Lucasfilm into complying with Disney's new budget regulations. All right. So that means all projects must receive approval from them until Bob Iger makes a formal announcement regarding the studio's future. Now, this also means that the supporters of the acolyte, it's unlikely that the Witch King will be allowed to allow that project to go on. Okay. Now, as a result of this power shift, several individuals who's loyal to Kathleen Kennedy have resigned. So this is a big piece of interesting fact right here. Mark Varies David, forgive me for messing up your last name. Nahasil, thanks for joining me this morning. Mark Vera says she's losing her job if the new Star Wars movie about Rey doesn't happen. David said if Kathleen Kennedy is not fired, she is all but fired. Sounds like to me. Well, I can see what you mean by that. I can definitely see what you mean by that. Now, says here that as a result of the power shift, there's several individuals loyal to Kathleen Kennedy have already resigned. All right, so. And I'm reading this from those that I gathered and and I'm sharing with you all. It's not really clear if there's someone from the story group is gone, if they're the ones who resigned. But in other departments, there's they're unhappy about having to answer to these representatives or the Nazgul instead of Kathleen Kennedy, and they've already quit as of yesterday afternoon. Okay. So now we see right here, right now, the possible breakdown of Lucasfilm, okay, where we have some people who have resigned because of the fact that now they have to answer somebody else, and these are people who were loyal to Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, so these are some instances and events where I didn't even think was possible that would even happen. Okay, but other than that, this is showing that the fandom is actually starting to win. And it's about time that they start listening to us as well. Now, the leaker, as we all know who they are. They've been informed there's more formal announcements, and then those are going to be shared soon. So be on the lookout and be sure to actually look out for me to share that with you all as well. Now, who do you think is to blame to all of this? Could it be the fans? Perhaps. The only way it could be our fault is the fact that, we stopped spending our money on not only the movies or the other content, but the streaming service itself. We canceled that. We didn't even buy the merchandise. We bought the merchandise from Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, but with season 3, that just stopped. Okay, or at least it decreased, if you will, because you got a few of those out there who might have enjoyed season 3, or they hated season 3 but still love Grogu. All right, so they decided to go ahead and continue buying those. But like I stated before, things are really shaking up over at Disney, over Lucasfilm, if these rumors are true, But other than that, just seems like it might be another repeat of what was announced before, where, and I'm going to go over this again, where you have several people. Morning, Silicon Dave. and where we have several people out there who are stating that she has been fired, she's gone, so on and so forth. Okay, but the crazy part about that is there was one person that was often, sending her way. One person that, and if these are true, where she were actually, if these leaks have been proven to be true, I mean, to the point where this is possibly factual, Bob Iger is the one who is basically in her way. Now, remember, I shared with you all before about the meeting that took place between Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger that was leaked by this person who name that we all know that I'm not going to say because of the fact that don't want them to be caught up in more mess, where the individuals that's on the focus leaked out there the meeting between Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy about how Bob Iger was trying to figure out what is the reason behind that there's no success in the box office with Star Wars. That's when he asked her. And then she was upset, and then she went on ahead and then started questioning him about what about the successes with the other movies from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and as well as Marvel Studios. She got up, and that shows that, she was pretty upset. It got so bad that it got to the point where she started hitting below the belt. All right. Or so I think. But other than that, I mean, like I said before, this is definitely interesting because of the fact that she has to answer Bob Iger. Well, she had to answer Bob Iger if she's not already gone. Now remember, she was upset. And then she also started questioning Bob Iger. What about the success of how successful was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? How successful was Strange World? How successful was Lightyear? How successful? What about Ant-Man and Quantumania? Everything that was didn't do so well, including stuff under Star Wars, was approved by him and also approved by her. So she, just like Bob Iger, she passes around the blame instead of taking accountability for herself. Can everybody hear me out there? Let me know in the chat if you can. All right, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Just want to make sure my audio is up because that was a big issue I had yesterday. I was supposed to have done a live stream yesterday. It was on how the media is actually trying to, support Kathleen Kennedy, saying that she's the one that saved Star Wars when we all know that she wasn't. David said Kathleen Kennedy was antagonizing the fans, holding their love for the Star Wars against them. That's absolutely true. I definitely agree with you on that one, because even those of us who are the OG fans who've been fans since they first came out in the 70s, or might have been fans since the 90s or so, or those of us who've been fans for a few years, as myself. Now, I grew into the brand and everything. I actually enjoyed what George Lucas put out there for us, But other than that, like, this is what happens whenever you head out there and go against the fans using the content against us. You lose money. Simple as that. All the money that was given to you and everything, you go ahead and fail to make it back for the studio, which explains why there's consequences to what we have now. The movies with horrible visual effects, what else? Cost cutting, spending, and everything, all of that. But yeah, this is definitely interesting. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and in the chat as well. And also, have y'all heard about y'all remember Pablo Hidalgo, right? Who's a part of the story group who mocked Star Wars theory on YouTube when he reacted to Luke Skywalker, the deepfake Luke Skywalker coming up, making an appearance. Y'all remember him? Well, apparently there's another rumor going around out there with different people on Twitter and some YouTubers as well, and even Karen Pasha shared this too, where Pablo Hidalgo said that he told the world that he's not a Lucasfilm leader. That he's not a leader of Lucasfilm. They said that, he tweeted about it, and no one knows why he would tweet that. So why exactly is he tweeting that, he's not a leader at Lucasfilm and doesn't have to attend any of the meetings that they had? Well, it seems like he might have captured somebody telling that, him that he's just some unlucky person who hates doing hard work and everything, wants to go back to his only little secluded place. Karen Pasha described it as how he may sound like a captured SS officer, part of the Nazi Germany, telling different American GIs that he's just some unlucky German conscript who hates war and wants to go back to his village in Bavaria. Dave said Pablo is just a consultant as far as I remember. Yeah. Could be. And thank you all for joining me on this morning. I do apologize for yesterday for the technical difficulties, but everything seems to be on the up and up right now. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm actually gonna be honest with y'all right quick, okay? Because the only parts of Star Wars I love right now are just those that are either of George Lucas or of Jon Favreau. I'm talking about seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, because of the fact that those actually told stories, some good stories. No ulterior motives, no political intentions, no political aspirations, nothing. George Lucas made those because of the fact that he loved to tell stories. What about Kathleen Kennedy? Kathleen Kennedy only has done the Star Wars so that way she can go ahead and put out there a political agenda that I think may be a piece of vengeance against, George Lucas or possibly even Steven Spielberg. I may be wrong because I'm not Kathleen Kennedy. Don't know what she thinks. I don't want to know what she thinks because it might be quite terrifying. But anyway, anyway, it's like, I can't really help but to fathom, she's actually looking to go ahead out there, put up their political agenda so that way the company can get a good ESG score. And I actually think that because of the fact that, she's trying to, I'm thinking the easiest way she's doing that is by injecting her physical features into these lead characters, brunette, female, so on and so forth. Okay. Or she may not care about the whole ESG thing, and she just wants the score so that way the company can get more money and more getting good even further with the Hollywood elites, as well as the political elites of Washington and California, as well as the Northeastern United States. The Daves took over the chat today. Yeah, that is funny. All right. But other than that, I mean, Pablo Hidalgo, he's really not much of a problem, at least to me, and I'm pretty sure to all of y'all out there anymore. Has any of y'all seen the new Ahsoka trailer? The latest one, I mean. I saw it, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not really all that confident in it. It's not gonna win me back as a fan, you know. Yeah, got, Ahsoka in it. She came from the Dave Filoni aspect of Star Wars and everything, and this came out around the time way before, Lucasfilm was sold to Disney. So this also came from, a bit from George Lucas, if you will. Well, David Nuhaso, let me know if I said your last name correctly, and show me how to correctly pronounce it if I messed it up. But he said that he heard it's bad. I mean, to me, it looks good, but with the fact that the kind of characters in there, to me, it looked bad. It does look bad because of the fact that it has less males in it this time, and apparently the only villains in it are white males. White males. Now, I'll admit it. A few years ago, when the rumors came out that they're making an Ahsoka show, I was actually excited for it. But now, after seeing the latest trailer, nope. And I don't. Newhousel. Okay, Newhousel. Gotcha. So now we see that it's majority female. I'm pretty sure Kathleen Kennedy, when she said that with the whole storyline and everything with Star Wars, she's hoping to make it including more females. But what she mean by that is that you want it to have more women than men instead of equal amount of women and equal amount of men. Okay. But other than that, I'm not too confident in it. Not confident at all. Three days ago, there was, and I shared this with you all, about the possibility of decimation of Lucasfilm beginning about a few days ago. Well, apparently, it seems to me that if these rumors are true, they've already started. These have already started. But yeah, I want to know what y'all think. What do you think they meant by when they said the Nazgul from Disney, those who are the executives who represent Disney and stuff, coming in and taking control over Lucasfilm? What do you think they meant by when they said that Kathleen Kennedy is no longer a problem? Let me know about that in the chats, and I'll read them aloud. Because I actually think that there's people out there within the company, as reported in rumors years ago, especially through Overlord DVD or Doomcock, that there's a lot of people out there who are upset with her, who works for the company. Because personally, I think that that's what it probably means. Now, I could be wrong though. David Glenn in the chat says they're not even getting female empowerment right. The true female power is in creating community, and there should be a group of women coming together to solve a problem. Oh, not only that, but how are they going to make, the female hero feminine but brave, human but strong, so on and so forth? Because the only one that I can think of out there right now is Wonder Woman. And not only the Wonder Woman in the comics, the original comics and everything, but I'm also talking about the Wonder Woman played by Gal Gadot. They didn't make her out there to be the bestest of her. They didn't make her out there to be better than men. No, she just wanted to, she basically showed that, they showed her that she has weaknesses too. And she was able to overcome those weaknesses. David Newhouser said probably meant that she's left to pursue other career opportunities. I can see that. One Punch Man Tolkien fan says, did they buy out her contract? Seems like it, but no one knows. You know, it seems like it, but no one knows. But I'm still going to look into that myself. I can look into it right now. Dun, 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 dun. Now, there hasn't been much mention about Kathleen Kennedy and stuff, even with the mainstream media. But if her contract was bought out, they would have made an announcement about that right now. We would have at least heard rumors about that because, you know, like I've reported before, she's basically untouchable because, like, we don't know what the specifics were behind the details when Lucasfilm was sold by George Lucas, and whether or not she was, you know, put a clause was included in there where she can't be fired. You know. Silicon Dave says everyone at Disney is just trying to save their own butt at this point. That is true. They all want that money umbrella. David Newhouser said last night it was mentioned that only one notable person was not at the meeting, and that was Kathleen Kennedy. That's interesting. That is interesting. Maybe she is going by now. But if this was like to be done years ago, I would have been really happy about it. But nowadays, I've realized that I'm worried about with how everything's going. I'm worried who they're going to put out there to replace her. You know, could it be somebody inside the company? And if it is, who would it be? Would it be somebody, those who are loyal to, who are big fans of George Lucas, who are loyal to him? Or is it somebody who was loyal to Kathleen Kennedy? And most likely, if I guarantee they might get somebody from the outside. If they are from the outside, they might be more loyal to putting out there the whole DEI initiative to keep going with the things that Kathleen Kennedy put out there. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I don't know. All right. So now I want to talk about Bob Iger. No. Bob Iger. Good old Bob. Robert Iger. He's trending this one because of the fact that now we see that he's getting a contract extension into 2026 simply because there's no one else out there who is willing or wants to be the next Disney CEO. You know, because they don't want to have to answer to the board and everything. They don't have much of a personal stake in Disney. They don't even probably don't even have any investments made into Disney as a company. 7 years ago, if you bought Disney stock, guess what? Right about now, you probably have the same amount of money that you put into it. Because Disney has not been doing that good for like a few years now. Okay? Which is a shame, by the way. So this is coming in from CNN Business. It says here that Disney CEO Bob Iger says he's been open to selling ABC and its cable networks, but not ESPN. Now, let's back it on up. Let's back this up right quick. Now, remember last week it was made known that there was 20 people who were who was news broadcasters and anchors and stuff for ESPN who were on the front line on the shows and everything, those basically who didn't put out the woke agenda, all right, they're the ones who got fired. But those who put out there the whole woke agenda, they kept their jobs, including Kendrick Perkins, so on and so forth. Everyone else, they got fired. So now we're seeing that ESPN is actually going to go further woke. And it says here on the title for this article from CNN Business that Disney CEO Bob Iger says he's open to selling ABC and its cable networks, but not ESPN. I wonder why. I seriously wonder why. Maybe, and I'm speculating here, maybe that they're trying to double down on woke. So let's see what this CNN article actually has to say. Well, apparently it says here that Disney CEO Bob Iger said his company will be expansive in its thinking about the future of its linear TV networks. In other words, the cable networks. Acknowledging that a sale remains an option. In the CNBC interview Thursday, Iger said that Disney has to be open-minded and objective about the future of business, adding that networks like these may not be core to Disney, and Disney owns several linear channels, including ABC, FX, and plenty more. Excuse me, I'm having a bit more issues with my browser. This is what happens when you use Chrome. Dave, that is true. ESPN is making money, still making money, but ABC is starting to fall behind. All right, now we're back. Now, Disney does own some of these cable channels, including ABC, FX, National Geographic, and Freeform. Now, programming produced by those networks might be according to Disney, it says here, but the distribution model is definitely broken. And that's what Bob Iger said. He also said that the disruptive forces that have been preying on that business are greater than I thought. Iger said we have to come to grips with that. What does he mean by that? Is he referring to DeSantis? I don't know. Or could he be referring to the consumers? Who knows? Who knows? But other than that, Disney, it's in trouble. At least I think so. Disney is definitely in trouble. But the whole issue with Bob Iger, it seems to me that he's not necessarily able to run Disney as they thought he would be able to. But apparently he still has a job with them. He was being brought back by the very person who he forced out. You know? It also says that linear business is in decline as more people cut the cord in watching programming on streaming platforms, and Disney also owns ESPN, but I said that he's bullish on sports and wants to stay in sports business. Now, bullish is a term for investors who want to buy everything when it's at a lower price. Okay? So that's exactly what he meant by that. Silicon Dave says, seems like a sell-off of everything that Apple has no interest in buying. Well, apparently there's an analyst out there before that said that in a few years Disney may be sold to Apple. Like 3 years that it may be sold to Apple. You know? He added that Disney is looking for strategic partners that can help the company with distribution and content, including assistance in purchasing increasingly expensive licensing deals for live sports, including NFL and the NBA. Now, as far as his contract extension is concerned, this past Wednesday, Disney's board unanimously voted to extend Iger's contract for another 2 years. I knew that was going to happen. I told y'all that was going to happen. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. It was going to be the board to make that decision. And we all knew that. I knew that was going to happen. I knew they were going to do that because of the fact that not only is that there's no one else out there that's willing to become CEO, but it's also going to take a really long time and stuff, and that's going to affect the business of Disney. You know, to the point where they're going to actually lose more money. Now he did joke that he joked to NBC that he liked retirement and that it was a good 11 months. But then he rejoined Disney in November 2022, replacing Bob Chapek, who, and CNN says, who had a choppy run at the helm. I wonder why. Simply put, Bob Chapek had a bad run because of not only Bob Chapek himself, but also the board. He had an answer to the board. He didn't have as much invested into Disney as Bob Iger did. Bob Iger has like billions of dollars in Disney right now. That's why he says by him, he's the end all. You know, he said Iger said he wanted to stay at Disney for longer than anticipated because he has a deep passion for the company, but needs more time because in some ways challenges are greater than I anticipated. Putting more woke content out there just to go ahead and appease the elites from California as well as Washington? That's what I'm wondering. Definitely wondering that. But then there's also the actor strike, where it says here, remarking on the looming actor strike and in the ongoing writer strike, Iger said he found the labor action very disturbing because of the growing challenges the media industry faces. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption, he said, noting the entertainment industry faces economic challenges and is still battling back from audience deterioration during the pandemic. Okay, first and foremost, you don't want to blame the pandemic because of all of this as the reason on why the company wasn't so successful, because that was the only reason. The biggest reason was the fact that the consumers got tired of what they were putting out there. Lack of good storytelling to focus more on diversity and equality initiatives. In other words, the ESG. And you all know this too. You all definitely know this. So we had a writer strike. Now we're about to have an actor strike. And trust me, they can't afford to for this to happen. With the coming actor strike and the ongoing writer strike, Iger said he found the labor action very disturbing because of the growing challenges the media industry faces. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. He said, noting that the entertainment industry faces economic challenges and is still battling back from audience deterioration during the pandemic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is frankly quite disruptive and dangerous, he added. Iger also said he was pleased that Hollywood was able to reach a deal with the Directors Guild and wants to make a similar deal with both writers and actors. But he said the Goose expectations are just not realistic. David Newhouser says that losing $1 billion with the recent movies doesn't help. That is true. Losing over $1 billion to movies that you've invested like hundreds of millions of dollars into and didn't get back much in return. That shows you're losing, but he doesn't want to admit that. He's doing this so that way he can keep his legacy good and in place. where he wants to be remembered as somebody who saved Disney. But instead, his decisions actually ruined it. He was quoted saying, "You have to be realistic about this business environment. It's a shame, and it's really a shame." Now, this union representing about 160,000 Hollywood actors is poised to go on strike after talks with major studios and streaming services have failed. The actors are demanding increased pay as well as progress on residuals, particularly on streaming services. In other words, they want extra money. There's also concerns about the emergence of artificial intelligence. That's been another big talking point right there too. It seems to me that AI is starting to win. People saw that on the intro to Secret Invasion, where that was done by using AI. Then there's also AI being used to make scripts and stuff and tell stories and all of that. And that really got the writers upset. Dave Newhouse in chat said, not only are people not showing up for Indy 5 like me, myself as well, and they refuse to see it because we already know that we are getting what we're getting from Lucasfilm. That is true. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. Definitely agree with you on that one. Be sure to smash the heart button in the chat as well. All right, so I'm going to step aside right quick to go ahead and get other things ready for this live stream to finish it off. Be sure to comment your thoughts in the chat as well, and go ahead and smash the like button and share this live stream far wide across social media. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. A couple things I want to talk about before we head off. And these will be in videos later on. The upcoming actors strike. Like I mentioned at the end of the recent article talking about Bob Iger. Okay. Gonna be honest with y'all. Some of the actors out there, a lot of the actors they're actually all in for these ESG initiatives themselves. Now we're seeing that they're being affected because of the fact that they decided to go ahead and take on things as well as put out there to help to put out there the messaging, the political messaging that the different writers, executives, so on and so forth, told them to go ahead and do and everything to support this, that, and the third. So that way they'll get richer. I'm gonna bring that up in the in one of my episodes later today, talking about that. All right. So I want to thank y'all for being here on this morning. Thank y'all for having me. If you enjoy what I shared in this live stream, go ahead and smash like button, share far wide across social media. For those of you who didn't join when it was live and you watching the recorded episode of it, go ahead and comment to me your thoughts down below. If you enjoy what I had to say, go ahead and smash the like button. And also, if you enjoyed all the content I put out there, go ahead and share this far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.